Okay, the only reason as to why we have unsafe abortions is because safe abortion has not been legalized. And the only reason as to why the society views abortion as a crime, a very big crime, is because our parents were allowed to be mothers at a very young age, let's say at the age of 14 to 22. If I was also given a chance to be married at 22, I am sure I would not have abortion. I would also be married as a very clean girl. So the only reason as to why we are having abortions is because we have to achieve things before we become mothers. And the only reason as to why I'm supporting abortion is because a child is a 100% responsibility to the mother, leave alone the father, either present or absent. 100% responsibility is to the mother. So pro-choice forever.
Say that looking at me.
Okay, and also to build on what she had raised about the daughter lady, if we are to interpret the law holistically, as Santos was saying, we will also incorporate the child's best interest, which is under Article 53. Yeah?
Yes.
If we look at the child's best interest, we'll be like, okay, so in future, this child will be growing in a toxic environment because with the people will be like, you are the one, so they chose you over our peace. They chose you over our daughter's peace. So that if the courts were to interpret it that way, it will enable us to make good choices. Yes.
Very, very nice. That's it's just a rhetorical question. What would it benefit the child to grow knowing that she was a planned abortion that failed? Okay, what will it benefit me knowing that the reason is why my mom did not achieve what she wanted? She wanted to be a doctor, and now she's a stay-at-home mom because she decided to keep me. Allow me to rest. Let my mom succeed.
No, just.
Hey, Susan, I disagree with you. I disagree with you strongly, very strongly. We are just taking this. That is the consequence of your action. Why would you have unprotected sex, knowing fully well that you know the consequence of unprotected sex is pregnancy? First, I like to tell in my opinion, there is nothing like unwanted pregnancy. These are two adults who decided that they are going to engage in unprotected sex, knowing fully well that one of the consequences is pregnancy. So if you are not willing or ready to have a baby, why would you engage in such situation? Why would you put yourself in such circumstance?
Okay, I have something to say. So do you think that our education system is set to clearly tell and explain to you that this and this will happen when you do this? Because for the most part, when you get to do surveys and listen to that, some of the things that transpire that make them make this choice, and sometimes they do not have a choice because they need access to stuff. You know, I need access to a better life. I need access to food. So, and when we talk about this, I think it's also going to bring in the subject of grooming, which we are not going to start now. It is another session. But now, if I do not have access to food, and then the person of the other gender can give me access to food, and I truly do not have a choice, don't you think I'm going to accept being offered the food? And in this case, I feel obliged
You have to do something
to do something in return. Maybe Madam Lawyer can help.
Okay, on that conversation again will be the question of how available are contraceptives, right? Because you're going to say, and how well are we engaging in sex education? If you are telling me abstain. You know, the human mind is curious. The minute you tell someone do not, they will. They'll be curious. They'll be like, what happens?
Plus also add peer pressure of those who have done it and they're coming to tell you this is how it feels.
Exactly.
Now, in Kenya also, the subject of contraceptives in school, it is not taught.
Exactly.
The government prohibits that. So when you look at it from that point, are we really, I feel like we are withholding information that could help someone make a choice.
Okay, if I may just contribute to this conversation, I feel like, not I feel, this is actually statistically correct. We are putting much responsibility on the government for our children. Yeah? So that if we are talking about sex education, we're talking about contraceptives, the first lesson should come from home. And you don't expect you to take your child to school for the school to teach them about contraceptives and sex. I'll tell you what. I think it's the first time, I'm not lying, first time I heard about it. I was in class 6 and we were doing that reproduction topic. That is the first time I knew. Oh my, and then
Class 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time I actually had, let me even say, I had the word reproduction. I don't think I actually knew what it meant, like intrinsically. Of course, with a dictionary, you would know. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is we are putting too much pressure on the government for something that should be our own responsibility. So even as we're sitting here, you should make a note in your mind, even when I have children, the first thing I will teach them is, you know what? You want to do this, you want to do it at the age, fine. But there are some things called contraceptives. Or I think we used to say ABCD. Abstain, be faithful, contraceptives, and something.
Or to a group of schools. And
something. But essentially we should make it it should be very normal to teach not just children, but you see, when children start maturing, when they're 9 years, 10 years, you start introducing them to the topic. And it is not like bombarding them with information. You make it a step-by-step thing where you're teaching them, this is what happens, this is what will happen to you. Your stomach will be this big, and this is what you will remove after 9 months. And this will be your responsibility once the child comes. So I feel like let's not put it on the government, on the education system, as people,
Society.
as not even the society, as a parent, when you are a parent. And personally, you as that child you like playing with in your estate, make it a habit to give them snippets of life.
And I do agree with that 100%, because I feel like the society, our parents and their parents, they never spoke about such issues. No day my mom has never sat me down and told me about, sex and pregnancy and stuff. That was when growing up. Right now, she asks when I'm gonna get pregnant, when I'm gonna bring someone home. But you see, we did not have this conversation. I had to learn it from outside home. So that is also a big contributing factor that I was not able to be taught at home. I had to rely on outside information, which in this case may or may not have been accurate information. So I think it is a responsibility of each parent, each responsible adult, if you have access to kids, to start telling them important stuff. And it is that having open conversation, but also make this conversation in a way that you're not, yes, as she said, bombarding them with too much information, and you're also not withholding a lot of information.
Now, let me speak from the point of parents. I have a daughter who is going for school, and I have a son who is in Form 3. Normally, very difficult to start with, especially telling her as it is. On the flip side, our girls, they are ready for this conversation. But the problem is that they get it from the outside rather than the inside. So started at me and the mother, we started at home. Like, sorry for lack of a better word. Unajua sisi wanaume sio wazuri. I went for protection. So that's how to start the that's how I start the conversation. Unajua sisi si watu wazuri. And then of course you say lakini si unajua mimi ni mzuri. So the conversation takes place like and she opens up, she tells me she tells me that I feel this way, you know. And then protect me, eh?
I'm not going to bash you.
So that's one. Eh? So it should start from the inside. So as I was saying, in somatic experiencing, we have a way of now draining this trauma from this lady who has gone through abortion, because it is very important for her life to be that life which is very productive, and she continues with the life. We call it discharging that trauma, because even most of us have even childhood trauma. Maybe tulipigwa na jirani, maybe tulipigwa na wazazi in a very awkward way, so we carry it in our hearts forever and ever. We know how to discharge that. Last but not least, in as much as my colleague has said that we are putting too much pressure on the government has, the government should guide the society. So why do we say the government should guide the society? We elect them to occupy those offices, and so they employ experts on our behalf. So that maybe sex education can be taught in school. My colleague said alisikia mambo ya sex education while she was in class 6. But let me tell you today, kids in class 3, they know these things. They have access to internet. As parents, we give kids phones and they can access everything. The children today are very, very smart. They'll unlock your phone, you'll put a lot of password, but they'll unlock it when they have done a lot of things. So it is for us to take care of our children, and then the government takes the rest.
So, guys, we're going to wrap up that first question. And my closing remarks is whatever you do, just make sure you do it the right way. Go to the hospital, get counseling from there. And if you feel like you want to speak with someone, you are in a dilemma, remember, Nyota Drive, we have a safe space. You can always reach out to us and we'll connect you to people who are experienced in offering guidance. Okay, so don't go out there looking for information from random people, because a lot of people have the tendency of projecting what they would do to other people, and that's not right. Okay. Yeah. So now let's move to the next question, still under abortion. Now, this scenario, both parties agree that we want to abort the child since we are not ready to take care of the child. Common scenarios that happen in campus, right? So what is life after an abortion? Do you think these relationships still continue after the girl has aborted? What do you think,
Life after abortion depends on the mark the abortion left in. Maybe you as a girl, mostly it's the girl that goes through the abortion. So whatever mark the abortion might have left on the body of the girl will actually depend. Is the main factor that will determine how the relationship is going to go on from there.
Okay.
I look at the trauma side of it. We have the psychological trauma, physical trauma, and that unreleased part of the whole thing. So for me, whether abortion is done in very safely or not, there's a lot of things which brings that up. Now, of course, this depends on each and every individual. For some, there's a lot of grief. For some, there's a lot of anxiety, depending on your your biological nature of your body, because we experience the experience is different for different.
I will say for the lady it's trickier. Why? You're the one who had the child. You're the one who, let's say you realize after 3 months you're pregnant. Your mother instincts are already there or somewhat are developing, yeah? There's some sort of attachment. I would want to believe so. So when there's an abortion, it will be trickier for the lady because one, this emotional attachment will be cut off. It's like throwing cold water onto your face. Okay, you wanted this, there's that relief part, yes. But then, as William has said, there's the psychological and the mental trauma part of it. And if you get a bad partner, it can take a huge toll on you, which can lead to depression even. So mental health is in line. Either way, either you go with abortion or not, your mental health is still in line. Yeah.
Okay, so let me phrase it this way. You are in a relationship. You, Vanessa, will you continue dating that guy?
Personally, the guy didn't support the abortion.
No, he did. Like, after you agreed.
Okay. I might not continue.
Why?
Continue. Because I won't feel safer that you agreed to, if you agreed to an abortion the first time. So then the meaning you might also, if in any other, if we get into ourselves in the same situation, you will also agree to another abortion. That will endanger me. And remember, and I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong. Medical practitioners, please, in the comment section, continue. Every pregnancy takes a toll on you. It won't leave you the same. There are very many changes that will take place. The hormones and the medication, also the healing process. Literally, it's a whole process. So it depends actually if the partner is supportive, if it's there for me throughout the whole process, and if it's understanding. My mental state won't remain the same. My body also won't remain the same. So it depends on the support you're going to give me.
Okay. Any other person with any different opinion?
I know for ladies this is a very hard topic to comment. But assuming these are couples and you want a future together with this man, shit happens, and our shit does not determine our future. That is just one page of your life. There's an opportunity to give each other a chance to make things right. Maybe we are assuming the man supported you in the abortion. So even the healing part is going to be even easier because there's an acceptance that this shit happens. So in my opinion, the best thing to do, because if you separate ways, this man is going to have another trauma when he's away from you. But when you people are near together, there's a proper healing. There's now you're going to make proper decisions because mulibant mara ya kwanza. So mtaki ku make mara ya pili. And I know according to statistics, you find that it doesn't happen again. It rarely happens again. Because now the second time now you're more cautious and then you are well organized, even if it was financially, you have involved yourself in a lot of things. So for me, ladies and gentlemen who are watching, when such a thing happens, it's an opportunity to grow. Let it be a story that you can also mentor others. We made these mistakes, so kindly don't make these mistakes. So those are the people who should now go back to the society and tell the society, we made the same blunders that you want to make. And it is really affecting us. The only problem is that people don't like involving others in this. People just hide it. And that's the biggest problem.
And maybe one thing I can add on that is that the healing part is the longest. Because when you decide to go ahead with a situation, 3 days, it's done. It is something that is medically speaking under 6 hours, it is confirmed, and then you're gonna just be in this space where you're getting to release everything, and everything comes back to like your normal period flow. But then the healing starts. The healing is supposed to start when that process starts. And in this case, I wouldn't say that it is just the lady healing. It is also the man who's healing. So what I will then advocate in this sense is that you get to see a psychologist. You can see a therapist, because also getting opinion from a professional will help you determine what are the best next steps for both of you. And I will also say, moving away from this relationship might not be ideal, because you are now carrying this baggage and bringing it to other people who are not involved in it in the first place. Unless it is something different that triggers the separation, I believe that now communication side, and you have to be very, very patient with each other, because these days you're gonna feel very upset that party A allowed me to do this, and also party A is gonna feel upset, emotional, that I wasn't in a position to care for you and to care for this coming person, that we had to make this choice. So when you look at it from all those angles, it is just a place where we agree that we did this together. It was a choice, and how do we heal from this and make right choice?
Okay, and I understand what we are all saying and where we are all coming from, but I would want to imagine a scenario, and I have seen this before. Well, not with my eyes, but with stories and not experience. What? With stories.
We
and
understand.
with-
We understand.
From your side.
So, mostly when an abortion takes place and the couple, okay, fine, you agreed, you have done the abortion and it's done. I tend to see the man pulling away. Once it is done, the man pulls away, so that the lady is left in a position where, remember, it is not only healing traumatic, psychological, it is also physical. There is that healing process, and it takes a toll. It's oh wow, it takes a huge toll on the body, on the mind, on anything. You just can't move on. You can't move the way you were moving before. It takes a huge so there is always there is fatigue, and it's not just fatigue of the mind, there is physical fatigue. There are some small activities that you could be able to do, you can't do them, but now the man starts pulling away. Becomes like, oh, you're exaggerating, oh, it can't be that bad, oh, what. So it's like, we are saying, you just said that what you said was the ideal process. That is in a utopia kind of situation. Yeah. But in
Kenya.
not really in Kenya, but when we are looking at it, the healing process should take a considerable shorter time if you're doing it together.
Yeah.
But it will take a longer time if one is pulling away and the other is struggling to keep on moving. It takes a considerable. So you will find that the abortion took place today, but next year at a time like this, we are still healing because somebody decided to pull away, and they're saying, no, you're exaggerating, it can't be that bad. So I don't know, because we only have one man, what do you say about such a situation?
Thank you.
The man speaks. Oh, okay. So I'm thinking, right? You are two people in a relationship, and the man is pulling away. So first of all, this is not for every man.
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you, it needs someone who's emotionally mature, right?
Yeah.
So there's also the aspect of trauma bonding. So you'll come to someone, oh, I'm sorry, I can't get to the bathroom today. I'm like, I'm having it worse. I'm glad you can speak about yours. I cannot speak about mine. You get it? So it's like a competition. When there's that, first of all, this is an emotionally immature person. Because why would you compare pain?
Yeah.
How someone handles pain is different, because this one is feeling it both physically, emotionally,
and
so it needs someone who empathizes with you and realizes that. So this, I saw you through the whole process, and there's some things that I might not be able to comprehend, like how your stomach is feeling, like how you need to pee, for instance, all the time if it happens. That is, yeah.
Unpopular opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion.
We're coming for you,
Mm.
girl. You can shout unpopular opinion.
In case he's a relationship and it's not marriage, and you are considering abortion, and you have other support systems, I would advocate for confiding with other support systems.
Sure.
Apparently, if I was to go through such a process, I would confide with my mom or my best friend, or I would confide with Perry rather than my boyfriend. Because after the abortion, sometimes or most of the times, we're not talking about the ideal. When you're becoming realistic, most of the time, there's blame games, mostly from the man. So if you can, you don't need his support that much.
So even if you don't need the
Girl
support,
child.
so that means you'll walk out of the relationship.
No, that means I might not even tell you that I'm
No, that's a whole different.
I do
not
have
even
a
tell you.
question.
And if I tell you and you start behaving as if you're shifting and drifting, I might walk out for my own
Personal.
safety, peace, growth,
Yeah.
and healing.
Yeah.
I will go for better love. There's always love at home.
Yeah.
I do have a question, and I'm gonna direct it to William because you're the representative of men here. This scenario, I do agree with. I do go ahead and have an abortion. Afterwards, and now we do not go through the healing together, as we've said, and then you start detaching. And also later on, now this is from medical, and I'm not a medical practitioner, but I've been in this space where I have access to, this information and resources and people around me. It is easier to get pregnant again when you indulge in sex after an abortion or even after you've given birth. That is a thing. So what happens? You get pregnant again, and then this other party now also takes you to abort, or just assume it's also a longer period of time. Maybe you've done the first abortion, and then when we get into this space again, you are also not for it. Maybe this time round I am for it, but you now feel like you are not for, you do not want the baby, and you also push for abortion. What is usually the problem? And in this case, also, you start seeing other individuals, and the information that usually comes out is that that girl is tainted. I have no business having her or planning a future with her.
And William, I also have a question.
Let me answer that one first. All these questions are so many. No, I think yours is connected with hers in one way or another. Now, in a relationship, two minds must meet. For me to be in a room with a lady, our minds have met. Because for this abortion, we're not talking about issues of rape. It was something which was consensual. So, in my wisdom or lack of it, if we met and we had this consensual intercourse, our minds can still meet and offer a solution. Our minds can still meet and offer a solution, right? So it's not about men. It's about the two persons involved in this. How do we present this on the table? Sometimes I'm the man, I'm very arrogant. Sometimes the lady who is arrogant, who doesn't allow this conversation to take place very well. So sometimes you find it is both-sided. But now, what is the best direction. The best direction is when such a thing happens, we bring our heads together and we forge ahead. Now, in somatic experiencing, there's something we are told that there's the trigger. So this trigger part, you find that for a lady maybe, or for the man, it is not solved. The abortion was the trigger of all this trauma around. But you find that we leave it unsolved. That is why one of the speakers has said, look for a medical practitioner, get advice. Look for a psychologist, get advice. Come to William for somatic experiencing advice, because I deal with the trauma. I'll be able to assist you. So in somatic experiencing, we don't bring the scenario. We bring in the scenario, just a bit of it, so that your body can understand it, what you're going through, so that you can cry on it and discharge everything from your body. It can take as short as 2 days, or even 2 hours, or even 3 years or 5 years, depending on the practitioner who is dealing with you. So the best thing, as a legal practitioner and a somatic experiencing practitioner in trauma, go and seek professional guidance. That is the only thing. Now, this topic of post-abortion, my very good friend has said that sometimes you will find she'll not confide in the mom or even in a close friend, because there's something we call stigma. Because sometimes the best things come from strangers. And even all of us who live on this planet, most of the opportunities you have gotten from strangers. People who barely know you. Because for them, you are good at this, they give you that opportunity. Now, our friends will not even give us opportunities because of competition. Now, let us translate this into now this post-abortion thing. They'll keep on speaking, that backbiting and those other things. It happens. So also you choose the people you tell. Because there's some people you tell, it is like forever. We live in societies whereby there's a child who, in the African society, maybe alikuja na mama yake. Naona. And they get a dad who takes care of them very nicely. But there's always that relative who will say, huyu hata si baba yako. Isn't it? It happens. Wow. And even some of us, we were like, how?
Especially those who come with booking me in the marriage after they have gone out, and then they also come with each other like, wewe na baba yako mlileta booking me. Something like that.
So we have to be very careful when it comes to such a topic, because it can damage your life forever. So because this affects ladies so much, I would say 90% affects ladies so much. Maybe the 10% will affect the man, but for men it's like sini life. Sikasonge tu. Alafu kesho si akona ametoka kwa Jane, ameenda kwa Bono unasema Mary, ameenda kwa Deborah, for example. So for men, they faster.
It's easier for you to go to
Yeah, so for them it is easier. And so my advice to the ladies, make the right choices. Make the right choices with us men. We are not the best people on this planet. No. We are not the best. We are good, but not the best. But some of us men, they are very good men who are husband material. Let me give you a practical example. I'm a husband material, so I came with my son to this session. You see, look for men like us. No, I'm married. Thank you.
William, I had a question for you.
Yes.
Based on what Susan had said, he might not tell the boyfriend that he's going to go through an abortion. How would you feel as a man if me as a lady, I have your child and I abort it without your consent or without even letting you know it, yet you also have the you also have the right to make an opinion when it comes to the life of that child.
Now, when there's a baby, I don't want to say unwanted baby because that is a very wrong word.
Unexpected or unplanned.
Yes, the best word is unexpected.
Unexpected baby.
Ama hiyo ni kusugarcoat sana.
Unexpected baby. Unexpected.
Mgeni ambaye hajalikwa.
Unexpected.
But there was consensual sex, so let us just say the word.
We just didn't expect.
Unplanned. We can say unexpected.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
But you expect, I mean,
I don't know. Well, so
unajua kuna planned babies.
let me answer her first. Well, let me answer her first. Okay, let me tell you, most and a higher percentage of pregnancies are never planned. Especially this is unpopular. This is unpopular opinion, eh? But most pregnancies are never planned. But once they come, there's a plan.
There's a plan.
No, a plan is made after that. You come up with a plan. So back to your question, my sister. When a lady aborts without the consent of a man, it's normally argued both ways. One, the lady will argue, this is my body, and I know what to do with it. I made it in the best interest of myself. That is one. However, for the man, if the man realizes, it damages him. Because the man will say, like, you don't trust him. There's a level of respect that you don't have for him. You know, so there are those conversations. They are very delicate conversations and they're very emotive conversations. It in fact kills the morale of the man. Some men even they'll end up not getting marrying again because that trauma will, and he will not even tell anyone. So the man will live with this in his life, and then it will develop some hate for the female gender. So you find that these men, when they grow up, they vent it on other women.
Toxic masculinity.
You see, now it develops. So instead of us going that direction, what's wrong with just informing the man? If the man refuses to own up, that's another story. And in fact, most ladies who tell the man that they want to do abortion, the man will always tell them, no, let us take care of the baby. Though outside, the things change along the way. Yes, you see. So there is that danger, but everything is a risk.
Yeah, true.
Tell me one thing which is not a risk. When you eat, you risk indigestion. When you go to church, you risk going to hell. You know, everything is a risk. Because if you go to church, you are informed, and then you're going to be judged according to how you go to church. Everything is a risk. Tell me one thing which is not a risk.
But
One.
if we take a better risk.
But the one is risk.
Abortion, and now there's no child. You know the other risk, the child is still there. Yeah, the child is still there.
But also,
this other risk is somehow better. You'll heal. Therapies.
what if you go through that abortion and you end up?
No, that's another risk. That's a risk. I want to be affected by my death. It is my family. I want to be affected.
What if it end up damaging your womb, and then the right time will come, you'll need a child and you're not able to conceive because of that abortion?
And in fact, on that,
it's not easy to get a surrogate mother in an African concept. Actually, surrogacy is also one other topic that women fear talking about it, because in Africa it is believed that you have to carry that pregnancy, feel the baby, and for you to literally be called the mother. They have not yet accepted that there are many ways that you can become a mother, apart from you carrying the baby by yourself. They haven't even they haven't conceptualized that there's something like that. So I feel like better just think through the consequence of whatever your decision is going to be, and sit the both of you. If we come together, agree. Personally, my question will be, even before I consider that I'm actually going through an abortion, I have to sit with you. Ask, are you ready to take responsibility of the aftermath of what is going to come through? If my partner really has my welfare at heart, now I agree. I'm going to be with you and stick with you through the whole process. Then that is the only thing I think that can change my mind and decide, let me sit with this man. And also, like one of us has said, seek mentors, talk to someone. Don't actually keeping things to yourself. It was now leads to femicide, which is going to be our next topic, I believe. So try to open up. Maybe it may not be a family. Most of us, we are family members. Maybe because of how they are going to be, or our friend. So you look for someone who is neutral, like you have said, neutral, who doesn't know you, who won't judge you based on what you have done. Because most of family members and friends, they tend to compete and judge us based on what they know. But if you go to someone neutral, someone who won't judge you, someone who understands, or someone who has gone through life, is ahead of you in terms of age, in terms of experience, and in terms of who has gone through the same, maybe the same, or not exactly the same thing, or someone who has better understanding of what you're going through. That person will be in a better position to give you advice. So don't keep things to yourself. Try and find someone who is going to at least help or advise you on what is this journey is difficult. I know, very difficult. So you have to be careful on who you involve. Who you involve in this journey will determine how you're going to, and will determine the end product of this whole outcome. So be very careful. If you need to, if it's a must, you go through the process. Ensure that you go through the process the right way. So to avoid many aftermath, speak to people around you that are going to advise. There are many things outside here. This the online is there, but you have to do selective listening to what is going on through social media. In terms of saying social media is there and it gives us advice. Also, do selective listening. If you see whatever Perry has given me might not work for me, but whatever this one has given me, it will work for me. Pick that advice in terms of your benefit. How am I going to benefit from this? Is this choice going to work for me?
Now to close this session, I'm going to ask you one final question. Now that you've aborted, right, and you're entering a new relationship, do you feel like it's necessary for you to tell your partner, or you can just, move on with life and leave the past in the past? What do you guys think?
This is what I think. I will generally need a safe space. If I'm to tell my partner that this and this happened at this point in my life, then I have to trust you enough to be able to have this conversation with you. And it also requires an emotionally mature man for you to acknowledge that this happened and then talk about it and him to accept. But in a situation where I feel like that is going to be used against me, I'm going to die with it.
Great. Any other person?
So on that, it also depends. Have you healed? Do you want to heal? If I want to heal properly, if this man or this woman is my partner, okay, sorry, the lady should tell the partner this happened in my life. But you don't say it immediately. You have to know the kind of character that you're dealing with. Like You cannot get into a moving car, and you cannot get out of a moving car. For you to get into a moving car, you have to run the same speed as the moving car. So you cannot just hop into this person and tell, I have done abortion. So there's also an element of you taking your time, understanding the guy, understanding if it is safe for you to take the guy, because otherwise you can have another trauma bigger than abortion. Every time you're going to have a quarrel in the house, no, look, that conversation will be
When you can't conceive, it becomes,
That is where I'm kind of like, do you feel like it will take a certain situation for you to say that you had an abortion? For instance, the guy is noticing that you're having any very painful menstruation, like there's just something wrong with your reproductive system, and then when you go to the hospital, they're like, give us your medical history, and that is when you have to say, I had an abortion. Do you feel like in this situation you'll be obliged to tell the guy because he'll be there and you are, this is the reason behind her issues? But do you think the doctor should keep it between you and the doctor?
Now, that is what I wanted to first comment on. From a healthcare perspective, your medical records are your business between you and your doctor.
But now if we are trying to
No,
get a child together.
it is still your business, you and your doctor. Unless you consent the medical practitioner to share this information, they will not.
No, but when I usually see when two people are trying to get pregnant, like both of them are, they are told this is the issue.
Now, they'll go together, but if the doctor finds out information that is sensitive, they will speak to you separate. And you have to first acknowledge or give consent. Ndio, I'll move to the next step of where now I'll bring your partner and this is how I'll handle them. Because they also need to be prepared. This is information that is sensitive. You are not comfortable sharing it. But now you feel like you want to share it. They have to provide that space in which they can explain it to this other party in a way that will, allow them to first accept or know that these are the medical parameters or health parameters about this and this that transpired, and this is how you handle it. Then from there, they'll be able to give you options you can explore. Yeah.
A question to the men.
Legally,
Okay.
you ask the question. When you're getting into a relationship, once you're married, one of the grounds for divorce is misrepresentation. If you are lied to me about yourself, then I never got the package that, for lack of a better word, I never got the package that you told me. That's a ground for divorce. So, for example, if you know the abortion will affect you, consider it's good to inform the man so that akiingia unaambia mimi baada ya abortion it can affect my fertility. So when he's entering into that, anajua it can. But somehow he has entered into it, and now he's realizing, I'm sorry, I never told you, I forgot to tell you. It also affects. No, back to your question.
Will this affect how our relationship will grow if I told you that I had an abortion? Will it, as a man, ego?
Assuming that we're just getting into it, and then I tell you, let's put everything on the table. I've had an abortion.
We're sharing first.
No. We don't marry because men don't marry because of love.
Okay.
Men marry because they believe that this is our life.
Convenience.
No. For lack of a better word, but men don't marry because of love. A man will see you and see this is a white material. Whether you can conceive or not, that is something else. So for us men, it's more about companion. I want a companion. So most of the time, ladies marry because of love. And that is the wrongest thing that we always do. I'm now in the space. We have ladies.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, in the plural form.
Yeah.
Ladies, that is the mistake we make, because many a times you'd marry because the man has a dimple, you marry the one because he has a dimple, or he has a mwanya, something like that. And many a times the man will marry you because of the dimple. What about if the dimple disappears? So marriage is not about love first. Love is formed during marriage. Let us go back to our traditional African society. A woman was identified for the man. And then there was is it a kajaking or kidnapping thing? So the ladies kajaked off.
Yeah.
Is kidnapped? No, it's all over. It's all over.
Yeah, it is.
It's all over. It's
Africa, all over Africa.
All over Africa. East and Central, Sub-Saharan Africa, blah, blah, blah. So it was not about love. So when the lady came into the home, they formed that love. Back to our question. If you had such a scenario in your life, a man always has, and most men will understand, same for a few, ambao wanatuharibia jina, they'll always understand. Like, that was your life, it was your past, and that was one page.
Okay, let me add to what you're saying. Would the number of abortion also play a role? Like if I had like 3 or 4, will it play a role?
The first time it's a mistake.
Yeah.
The second time it's a coincidence. The third
That
time is
time.
what?
Habit.
Ni mazoea.
So that means should now ladies also disclose that I have had 3 abortions, I've had 4 abortions, or should you just say I had an abortion?
Okay, medically, even medically, we want to know that you had 2 or 3. Then maybe they detect only that you had an abortion. Now, the number of times that you have done abortion, I don't think that's what it is. Sometimes you just say, but Ibaya, I had an abortion.
Anyway, I don't want the viewers to take this really misquote it, but you know, medically, abortions cannot be proved. Abortion is a miscarriage.
Yeah.
So even right now, when let's say you conceive and you're not in a space to keep it, and decide to initiate an abortion, even when you go to like now a healthcare center, you can just say you had a miscarriage. And for now, this is just to help someone maybe who finds yourself in a situation, and you know, maybe hurt, you don't know how to go about this, and you've already initiated the process and you do not have the right procedures. If you feel shy about it, just you can visit a healthcare facility and just say you think you're having a miscarriage. It cannot technically be proven that it is an abortion.
But see, kuna sometimes when you have like the abortion that went wrong, like
So now, if it went wrong, that means there's something that triggered it to go wrong. So up until like now, there will be need for you to really disclose I was doing A, B, C, and D, and it led to this. But if and then those are just situations where unajua now I'm not giving that information. Let me withhold some information. But the stages where you're not supposed to terminate a pregnancy.
Okay.
You know, because when you do it at those stages, then you're putting yourself at risk. So that is where you know, if you're not doing it by the right healthcare systems or with a doctor who understands, you risk chances of fetus having part of the fetus in you and stuff like that. But if it is within the parameters that, you know, abortion is allowed medically, then there is low chances unless then you are experiencing an ectopic pregnancy. Because and then you have no business terminating an ectopic pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because first thing, just go to a health practitioner. Because if they also need to initiate an abortion, they still need to determine if you have a high risk pregnancy or what kind of pregnancy you have. Yeah.
Now, just to add on that, someone has asked a question. How is it possible for us to reduce the rate of abortion? Number one is stop responsible men. Secondly, stop responsible women. I am a POM chair of Job and Women, where I mean, normally go back to school, teach, I mean, almost every other day, 12 days. You know, the problem that the beautiful one put it on means this. Actually, you can never marry your husband. Yes, you can, but biologically, by the time you reach that stage of marriage, there is that biological differences. So the girl you're seeing right now, the one you are falling for, your crush right now, the 99% you will end up not married. So why should you mess her life? The same applies to God. The guy that you're seeing is in from 3 or from 2 there. The chances of you ever meeting that guy and getting married is zero. So why should you expose yourself to a pregnant bitch with think about it? So when we bring that conversation to our school, the subject that changes. So that we teach our boys and our girls positive relationships. So that a boy can have a girlfriend positively, a girlfriend, without those connotations of sexual intercourse.
Agreed.
Just the same way I'll say this is my friend. The same way that the society should allow it that girls and boys can have a relationship, a very positive one, which builds them for the future.
Wait, just okay, so then someone can contact someone.
Okay, this food for thought. The statement "the beautiful ones are yet to be born," does it not encourage grooming?
And pedophilia.
Yeah.
The beautiful ones are not yet born, according to my wisdom or lack of it, means that what you see today should not. The lady I see today should not make me make subjective decisions, because there are other beautiful ladies who will come after her.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily young ladies,
Okay.
but there's a point which will come in time that I'll get a 20-year-old lady who fits me just like her. But for now, let me go my education, let me do my businesses, let me structure my life, because that part will come. I'll give an example with myself. When I was in high school, there was a lady who was my crush. She was called Charlene. I don't know which school she was. Now, the other day I met Charlene. She had a family, of course, and she had was there for kids. And she really meet my husband, meet my kids, and remember she was my crush back in school. So and then okay. So even if she was my crush, it would have not ended. So you see, but if I took all my time, I wasted all my time writing to her letters, those are things, I would have wasted my time. So you see the proverb, the beautiful and the beautiful. Now I am married, of course.
I do actually resonate with that, because when we were in school back then, our CRE teacher told us something along the lines of don't care about this relationship, don't get entangled. But then you are just like, what Taki? No. You're just like, what do you know? But the truth is that they know, because right now, in my 25 years of living, I've been single for 3 years. And it's not like there's no men or something. It's just something that it's a choice. It is a choice. it is a choice. Another one of the things is we always say don't rush into things, but somehow unajua ile kitu unaambiwa don't rush into it is what you want, and over time what happens is more psychological. You're not prepared because it's just something like you want to explore, and you get into it with the wrong kind of perspective and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, ndo unajipata like you've made a lot of mistakes. Hata ule kijana ulikuwa unaambiwa usitembee na kijana wa nani, we umepita na yeye nini, after some time that kijana amekuacha, you're heartbroken. And later kwanza hata si aliamua kubadilisha njia.
Sasa hadi amtembei, you know you're being obedient, but later.
Later, it's more like you are forced to obedience. So that is the thing. So, and this is just to maybe tell our younger audience is that these things are actually there. Tunasemanga sika sabuni zitaisha. Yeah. So just exercise caution. Have access have access to the right kind of information.
But
And-
najua people have access to information even if they want to. You know, they think that they can do it better. Let me say it that way.
And let me just say this. I feel like if we are speaking to the younger people, I mean, I'm not that old, but and I am experienced to some level. I mean, probably more than someone who might be listening. But if we are speaking to them, I would say that you should look for mentors, and mentors who would build you in particular principles, in particular capacities, and you would look up to them. These are the people who will give you the right information, people who want what is good for you. Because remember, we're also going to talk about grooming. There are people who will give you information, but it won't be good for you. So you have to have how do I say? You have to be discerning. You have to look at the wheat and the chaff.
It's like they usually say not all advice is good advice.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is way you just create a filter.
Exactly. Yes. And you should also be in touch with your own morality, with your own principles and the values that you stand upon, so that you are not going towards people so that you are actually choosing people who are in line with those values and principles. It makes all the difference. Your mentor should be a person you look up to in values, principles, be it their educational qualifications, their profession, whatever, but their morality, values, and principles must align with yours.
In a nutshell,
Yes.
what you're trying to say is that a mentor should be a clear reflection of you. Like, ukimwona, unaona, this is who I want to become. A lot of people, they confuse between a mentor and a role model. That is where we go wrong. Maybe a role model is someone who you've seen like a particular character. You say, hey, maybe I love the way this person dresses. So you end up getting into that quality. Maybe you end up liking that person because of how he is. But when it comes to mentorship, you have to be very keen. And in the first place, before choosing a mentor, you have to first know yourself. Know yourself for you to be able to get the right mentor. Even if not even in terms of mentorship alone, in everything you do in life. First of all, you have to discover yourself. Who am I? What do I really want? For you to get even the right person, the right friends, and the right partner. So for you to get a mentor, you have to first of all study yourself. Know, where am I? Where do I want to go? So that when you go in search of a mentor, you have to really, if you see that person, then you can really now clearly say, this is who I want. So you now start following. Not exactly, you might not exactly follow everything. You do selective. Just like I said earlier, and that's what my colleague has said. You select whatever it works for you, you go with it. So you have to really differentiate between a mentor and a role model, so that you don't end up doing or creating some mistakes, maybe because of following the advice of the wrong person. You just have to be really clear in what you want for you to get that right mentor. Because that will clearly determine what will be your end product and the end goal. So you have to be very
Selective.
And have boundaries.
Yeah.
Because not the issue of grooming usually starts with these mental and these religious people.
Agree.
Just don't follow anyone for the sake of following.
As they can be, you're too mature for your age.
Sasa hiyo shetani.
Yeah, grooming. I mean, how to just by the way. Also,
On the issue of
following advice. You know when someone is giving an advice, and let's say based on information, right? It's based on their interpretation of that information. So what you're taking in is someone's interpretation. So why not go to the source and have your own interpretation, which will be aided by your values and self-discovery. Know what works for you, and at the end of the day, ask yourself: Is this what I want? Is this something that in 5, 10 years, this decision, if I want to be asked, why did you make it? I'll probably say, I did it for the good.
Just to conclude, the other problem we have as a nation, we don't have role models. From our politics to even the leadership that we have. So, as parents, what should we do to our children for this work? Another thing is that when you're looking for mentor, who chooses for you a mentor? Now, like for example, which region? Let us go in the regions. If we just say in Kiambu, tell me a politician who you would like to mentor your children. You see, you will miss. Even go to other places, even my own region. You find that this politician has this scandal, this politician has this scandal. So we end up saying we don't have mentorship.
Like Mimi, I usually say, I'll give you all the information. Whatever you decide to do with it, that's upon you. I'm not going to feed you my ideology. Exactly.
I work with justice defenders, but no, my ideas do not
Reflect.
justice defenders.
Yeah.
I am an advocate with the Law Society of Kenya as their member. So it doesn't really reflect.
Yeah, you won't like go feeding them your ideology. Like, where to go with
So maybe what I have said in this is my personal opinion. I can also give advice on my personal opinion.
But if they want to consult anything legally, So guys, you've had an amazing conversation, and like they said, just pick what works for you, and we really can't wait to come again together and handle issues on grooming. Now you need to for our next topic. I know kuna a lot of controversial issues around it, but we will try our best to give you something from the neutral perspective of everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you have anything to say, the comment section is always open. And remember, for a campus student, don't feel like you're old enough to handle all the luggage by yourself or all the trauma you get in campus. Nyota Padre, we are having a safe space for campus students. Are you a victim of sexual assault, rape, gender-based violence? Because this is something that is not being spoken about. Whenever you're in a relationship in campus, most even our parents don't even know we are married. We have been married for 2 years. Yes, we are co-living with our husbands. Tunapigwa wow. And actually, some of us really have strict parents. We can never go and tell them that, you know what, you need to do and stuff. Because that episode is going to na kulipia school fees usome ama uende uelewe. But these things happen, right? And in case you're in a similar situation, feel free to contact your father.